Hello all! Today I'm going to start a game of a Gest of Robin Hood, which is a game designed by Frederick Serval, published by GMT Games, which was kind enough to send this to me. I'll put a link to my unboxing of that, which was many months ago. But I decided to finally get this to the table and publish this in November. Why? Well, there are many different origins or potential legends of Robin Hood, or form the basis of the legend of Robin Hood. And this game, although is somewhat historic, is really based upon, partly based upon the mythology of Robin Hood. And so there was a Robin Wetherby and a Robert Hod, which is sometimes, spelled or pronounced Hood, and there's a Linton. So there's several different Robin Hoods or potential sources for what is the character or legend that we now know as Robin Hood. But the Wetherby was actually executed by a sheriff in November of the 1200s. So I'm using November as my date for this to have it roll this out. I've started setting this up here. I've got it. It's a two-player game. I don't know if I'm going to end up being playing this two-handed, which is really kind of hard to play two-handed because there is secret information in that you have these shields to keep track of your actions. There's these carriages that are flipped over, so you don't know what's on there. And then therefore the merry men in Robin Hood, they are flipped over or hidden, kind of like a coin counterinsurgency game, or pulling from the coin counterinsurgency game, because this is actually an offshoot of that. This is part of the Irregular Conflicts series. This is Volume 2. Volume 1, I've done an unboxing of that as well, but that one's a little bit more involved and has a higher level of complexity, at least from my looking at it. This one looked easier to get into. Plus, the topic is a little bit easier to get to as well. The other one is a very interesting topic about kind of medieval India. But anyway, so I don't know if I'm going to do it two-player. If I can find one of my merry girls to assist me in it, or I'll do it two-handed just to explore the mechanics. As I said, this is an offshoot of Coin. It's not a direct port, but it has a lot of similar concepts in that, the way you do the initiative and choose actions. This has plots and deeds. In fact, I think this selection process here was taken out of the British Way, which was a simplified two-player coin system, which I've covered as well. And this is, and you have, areas that have designations. In this case, they're passive or submissive or revolting. And so, again, there's a lot of similarities. You can tell the influence of Coin on this, definitely on this design and the actions and the way you select actions and some of the ways that you push forward on this. The ultimate way to win this game is the sheriff side is trying to get to order. So if the game gets down into one of these shaded, darker boxes, and one of the cards are pulled from the deck, again, kind of like Coin, it's kind of driven by that deck there. You can win if they're trying to get to order. They're trying to maintain order, and Robin Hood's side is trying to achieve justice. So they have a same instant win condition if they get to those shaded boxes when the right card is pulled. If the game ends, it just becomes a matter of which side of the line you're on who's going to win. So there you have it. I'm not going to do a turn by turn, or I'll probably I might do updates during the middle, or maybe just do an after action after I get done with the game. Thanks all. Well, game over. especially for the sheriff in this case, or the order side of things. I just finished going through the steps for the royal inspection. The royal inspection is kind of like a kind of like the scoring round, or the propaganda round, like in a coin game, or the scoring round in like Twilight Struggle or whatever. But you're going to have two of these, and then a final one is King Richard's Return, and then that ends the game. And so when you have this card come up, you're going to go through a series of steps here. And the first step is unrest, where you're counting up the areas that are either submissive or revolting, and then that will score on this track here, the order and justice track. Moving up towards justice is in favor of Robin Hood, and moving down towards our order is in favor of sheriff. And if you're in these gray areas or these shaded areas during the unrest step, then that side wins. And in this case, it was on the 5, and then due to the calculation of the the submissive and the revolting areas, it moved up 1 and made it a 6. And if it's in the shaded area during the unrest phase of a royal inspection, game over. So in this case, Robin Hood faction won. And it was the second one of these. I went through, several of these cards. Each series of these are called like a ballad. There are event cards. There are these fortune cards. Let's see if I got one there. And then you have, again, these royal inspection, 2 royal inspections in 1. King Richard Returns. That's kind of the flow of the game. And when those cards pop up, you can, when the events pop up, you can choose to play the event. The light portion on top is usually in favor of Robin Hood, and the darker or green portion is in favor of the sheriff. And you can choose to play those events. So I'll talk a little bit about gameplay, which that's kind of what that's going to. But let's talk about how it played out. The Robin Hood had a pretty good start. The sheriff actually got up to, I think, 3 at one point, but then it was kind of downhill from there. I played this two-handed. I couldn't find someone to enjoy this with me, and so there was probably a little bias towards Robin Hood, because I spent more time trying to figure out what is the right strategy for Robin Hood, and how to achieve that. And I started figuring out that getting these areas in revolt was key, because you need to have that for the scoring track during the unrest portion. So I probably spent more time understanding these plots and deeds for Robin Hood than for the sheriff. So Robin Hood did a fair amount of robbing, which is what he's known for, or what that faction's known for. I probably overextended the sheriff with these carriages, because you have to have these carriages to. This is one way that the sheriff can get gold, and also can trap and capture. I did quite a bit of traps. These are the unused ones here. Those are traps that you can actually capture the merrymen if they try to rob it. But they also have these right here, where you if you get this to Nottingham, then you're going to go up on this track. And so that's kind of a nice little bonus there too. But when you do that, when you in order to put these carriages on the board, you have to turn submissive into a revolt. And so I did that early on, like in the first ballad, to get that going, and I couldn't quite recover from that. I couldn't get some of these revoltings back to submissive. So I was playing a catch-up game with the sheriff in that regard. And so I really just didn't figure out how to manage their forces, their henchmen, and getting resources through gold or silver, I should say. I didn't manage that as well, obviously, because the sheriff lost. So interesting game in that regard. It's really kind of hard to do a play-by-play because it's very fluid what happens, because it's all based on these events, which can change things up, and the plots and deeds that you select. So when you're doing when it's your turn to pick, you can pick a single plot, an event, or a deed. The event means you're going to play the event that's up. If you do a single plot, then you're just going to do just one of these top portions up here. And then if you pick plots and deeds, you're going to be able to do both a plot and a deed. Imagine that. And so for the sheriff's forces, their plots are hire, patrol, and capture. Hiring is just getting more henchmen on the board. Patrol is moving them out and trying to reveal the merrymen, because there's a a hidden side, and then there's a revealed side. When they're hidden, they can do more things, and you can flip them over to rob and do other things. If they're revealed, then they can be captured, and that's this last portion here. And I didn't do a very good job of setting that up. I was always kind of a little bit behind on that, because you have to kind of patrol and capture. Patrol sets up your capture because patrol reveals the henchman, and then capture gets him and puts him in prison. Robin Hood did get thrown in prison. As you can see, there's still a merrymen up there, because I didn't get to the part of getting them out of prison. The royal inspection phase, you have a chance to get people out. Plus some events can do that as well. But I think a deed does that as well. Anyway, we'll look at that when we look at the Robin Hood board. But did get Robin Hood in prison, but he got out during the royal inspection phase, that first royal inspection phase. So, but I was a little bit behind on setting this up, because this is kind of a set piece. You got to do the patrol and the capture. The deeds that they can do is ride, and that's kind of a massive movement that they can do for free. Deeds that you can do confiscate. That's putting these carriages on the board, and these carriages follow an interesting route. They follow these roads, and so even though you're trying to get to Nottingham, so even though this is right here, there's a river there, so it can go there. But even though this is right here, there's a river there. One of the events allowed to put a bridge on there, so now it could go there. But even though if the carriage was here, it couldn't go right to Nottingham. It's going to have to follow this road and then come in through the forest, because it basically channels it through the forest, and that's where Robin Hood's merry men can ply their trade. They can start robbing them as they go through the forest. Is their chief place to do that. And then disperse is breaking up bands of merry men, and the key thing there is what I didn't get in place for the sheriff, but a potential strategy is getting these areas reduced so you can get to these camps, because whenever you eliminate a camp, you go down on the order. You start getting towards your victory condition. So I wasn't able to remove those camps from the board, and that's because I always had a lot of merrymen kind of protecting them. So anyway, that's another strategy too that I didn't quite fully understand or get implemented for the sheriff. Now for the Robin Hood's forces, you have recruit, sneak, and rob. Recruit is just that. You're adding more merrymen on the board. Sneak is you're able to move your merrymen around and also hide them, turn them over or keep them hidden, because, again, they're more effective when they're hidden because they can do more stuff. But if you move into an area that has a lot of henchmen, you're going to automatically be revealed because of that. And the lot of henchmen came on the board. There was an event that or fortune thing that really allowed the henchmen to kind of reclaim and turn some of these submissives or revolting to submissives or something like that. I can't remember what happened there, but got a lot of henchmen kind of grouped together during the second ballad. So, and then rob is just that. You're going to rob these these travelers. I did quite a bit of that in the first ballad. I didn't do as much of that in the second ballad here. And that leads to some interesting things, as well as that's one way they get their money. I mean, you're going to get money during the royal inspection, but during the game, the sheriff primarily gets money through these carriages or caravans, and the Robin Hood gets it from robbing. Then you got the deeds, which are turncoat, which I was able to use that, I think, once, I think. No, I wasn't ever, I can't remember if I did that or not. But the turncoat is where you can turn a henchman into a merry man. Donate is you can basically take a submissive parish and turn it to revolting. And I didn't do that as much, or didn't need to, because of when you put the caravans, that turns it to revolting, because you're taking all the money from the regular people, so they're no longer they submissive, they're kind of ticked off. So very thematic. I like how this all works together thematically. And swashbuckle is a way to kind of start making people hidden again. It's also a little bit of movement, and it's a way to get Robin Hood out of prison. And then inspire is, again, trying to change a parish into a revolting, and also get some justice out of there. Was able to do that, but Robin Hood has to be there and has to be hidden. And so, again, a lot of it is trying to, for the Robin Hood forces, it's all trying to set up something that is hidden so you can reveal it and do the action. For the sheriff, one of the big things is making it unhidden, or revealing it, and then capturing it. So a lot of very asymmetrical how it plays out. As far as thematic, I like the theme of this. This was very interesting. Again, this is based loosely on a historic figure. I talked a little bit about that in the beginning, and there's a whole there's a lot of history in this playbook, and then there's, of course, a whole ballad in this playbook. That this is really more of a nod to not only the history, but the culture and the myth and some of the legends around this. But it all feels very nice and feels very well put together in the actual play of this and how the pieces work as well. So anyway, I enjoyed it. I'll get this to the table again. Now that I've gone through this, I think I understand this a little bit better. I really like to play this two-handed. It doesn't have a built-in AI bot, so I really need to play this opposed, or you really need to play this opposed to get the full effect of it. And I'd like to try to do the sheriff next time, so I can really focus on those strategies, and then have someone else figure out how to do Robin Hood. Anyway, that's what I have for you. Thank you all for stopping by. I'd love to know your thoughts on this game, or on this, this irregular conflict series. I'm actually created a playlist now, so I'll have this volume 1, volume 2, both on the unboxings and now the after action. And I'm gonna now this has inspired me to do a after action of the volume 1 game in this series. So anyway, thanks all. Take care. Thanks for watching.